Thank you for joining us today. My name is Jeff Jeffries. I'm the Director of Employer Relations with the Career and Professional Development Center at Carnegie Mellon University. Today's webinar is about the new Masters of Science in Product Management. We have Greg Tikia and Kate Riley here to present the program and tell you a little bit more about it. It's a joint program between the School of Computer Science and the Tepper Business School. Greg and Kate, would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Yes. So my name is Greg Tikia. I am the Executive Director of the Master of Science in Product Management, and I'll tell you a little bit more about myself in a minute.
And I'm Kate Riley. I'm a director in the Master's Career Center at the Tepper School of Business.
We're both delighted to be here, and thank you very much for your participation today. It's greatly appreciated as we are embarking upon this new program. It's a newer program. It's been around for a couple of years, and we'd like to introduce you to why we created this program and a little bit about its early success, and invite you to partner with us as this program grows and meet the demands of your companies. As I mentioned, my name is Greg Tikia. I like to think of myself as the product manager of the product management degree. I am actually a lifelong product manager. I started as a product manager myself when dinosaurs roamed the earth in the mid-1980s. And I have always been and consider myself even as a serial entrepreneur, all the way up to a CEO of many companies in enterprise technology space and in other spaces as a product manager. So when I had the opportunity to join Carnegie Mellon University about 2 years ago and have the honor of leading the world's first and only, and therefore the best, master's degree in product management, I really felt that this was not only a great honor and something that was much needed in the marketplace. And I've been overwhelmed by the reception of this degree and our students and finding employment and other ways that we've been working with employers. Let me give you a little bit of background, and I'm sure you realize some of this. This is not me drowning in a recent lake accident or anything along those lines. But I like to think of product management as being really in a crisis, and a crisis of talent. Product managers are in tremendous demand. I'll give you a stat or two about that in a second. First of all, product managers are well paid because there is very little supply and high demand. Product managers can be paid anywhere from $60,000 to over $200,000. The average today is around $113 just for a starting product manager. And, you know, when we take a look at product managers, there are no real good places for product managers to be trained. Still today, upwards of 80% of product managers tell us and other trade organizations that track this information that product managers are trained through on-the-job training, mentorship, internal programs. In some cases, they'll reach out and get some type of outward certification. So there is a great deal of knowledge that is needed by product managers, and yet product managers tell us themselves that their number one concern is that they're not competent because they don't have the education and training to be successful in their job. There's also this ill definition of what product management is, and I think that goes right to the heart of why CMU actually created this program. As an old boss of mine, John Thompson, a former IBM executive, said to me when he was hiring me, Greg, I don't know what product management is, but I know that I need it. And I find that that is true in a lot of companies that I talk to today. The role of product manager, even though we see this, is one of the top 4 most important jobs in growth businesses. And yet it's one of the 10 hardest to fill jobs across the entire information technology sector. That's just the IT sector. When we look at what is happening in the world today as software and data is eating the world, and now we're seeing another generation of AI and machine learning, the demand and need in non-traditional tech businesses for product management skills is very, very high. Matter of fact, we did a study that shows that it grows about 32% over the last 2 years, outstripping even software engineering as a demand. So there's no doubt about it that there is a crisis in talent, and we wanted to, at CMU, help fill that void. And we are actually quite good at what product management in today's world, as it is defined in most companies, filling that void. We're actually very good at teaching that. We can actually create great students that are at this intersection of what defines product management, modern product management today. And that is the intersection between computer science, business, and design and human-computer interaction. This is how product managers spend their days. Coincidentally, it's what Carnegie Mellon is very good at. We're excellent at teaching this. We know all three of these areas, and that's why also we've combined this degree, not just from one school, but this is a cross-department joint degree between the School of Computer Science and the Tepper School of Business to bring students this education. Let me tell you a little bit more about the degree because it's intense, it's compact, and we get great outcomes. I like to tell people, because I go to a lot of conferences and I hear, you know, it's product management, you can't get a degree in product management. I'm usually waving my arm in the back of the room somewhere saying, oh, no, you can, you can. Our degree is a one-year, what we call off-cycle degree, and that's because it starts in January. So we're not a September start as traditional programs are. We start in January and we end in December. One of the reasons we created that one-year off-cycle program is we wanted to anchor in the middle an internship for our students. We don't want this just to be an academic program. We want there to be experiential learning that is also involved. Now, the academics, and I'll talk about those in just a minute, are a combination of those strong design, HCI, customer experience, user experience skills that modern product management needs, as well as in-depth business curriculum from our Tepper School of Business. As I mentioned, there's not only the summer internship opportunity to work with your companies, but there's also a Capstone sponsorship project, one that is anchored by a product problem or an innovation problem that your company may have. Another great way of getting to know our students. In addition to the academics, the experiential part of our program, finally, these students, very important for cross-functional leadership. As a product manager, our students get leadership training and a certification through our Accelerate program, which is a part of the Tepper School of Business. So they're really combining all these skills, all packed into a rigorous one-year program. If we break down the content of what they're getting educated on, you can see we look at that as spring, summer, and fall. In spring, they come here, right from their experience as employees. Most of our students have about 5 years work experience. So these are not fresh graduates. They have work experience. They've worked in companies. Many of them have worked on products. They'll come here and they really, first of all, hit the ground running, learning their business skills. Everything from managing people in teams to business communications, principles of product management, et cetera. In the summer is that product management internship. And then the fall, there's a semester-long capstone project with advanced CS and HCI courses with their active job search. So a lot along the line, and again, if you look on the one side there, the Accelerate Leadership Development Program goes throughout the year for coaching skills, communication skills, and leadership skills. Speaking of internships, we're always looking for internships. As I know many of you know, this is a great way to meet and interact with our students, particularly right after their introduction to the program and their education on their business skills. This is just a quick listing of some of the companies in our 2020 class that joined us in having an internship for some of our students. And you can see everything from enterprise technology companies to major retailers going through digital transformation to fintech companies to healthcare companies, many of them anchored in AI or machine learning skills as well. These are from startup organizations all the way through large worldwide multinational organizations. And we would welcome you to be a part of our internship program. We will be actively looking and bringing in companies, whether virtually or on campus starting in January, to interact with our new cohort, which will begin this January. Our next area is in our 2020 Capstones. This is a second opportunity for you to interact with our students. As you can see, some of the same students that work with us on internships also work with us on Capstones, but there's some unique ones that are outside of that as well. This is another opportunity to see our students in action. We start in the September timeframe and work through December. Our students come visit you and work on a particular product or innovation problem, whether that's a new product launch, a particular pricing, a go-to-market, a competitive analysis, a product feature definition, whatever it is. And you get an opportunity also to come work with our faculty and our adjunct professors here. We work back and forth both virtually as well as physically all the way through a final presentation in December at your site. It's a wonderful opportunity to sponsor at least 2 students that work on a product problem, and we'll have teams in this next year of up to 4 students in 2 different projects working with you. So it's another opportunity to interact, meet our talent, and see how they can fit in providing value to your organization right before they graduate in December. In summary, there are really 3 different ways that we can interact with you. Number 1, provide intern opportunities. Kate and I will be happy to take questions and answer anything on terms of internships, and again, we'll be starting that process in earnest in January. Second, we will be starting also in January to look at Capstone sponsorship for the fall of next year. And finally, not only for next year, but more importantly this year, we have a number of students that will be graduating in December from our current and second cohort that are uniquely qualified product managers with product management experience that can help drive success on your teams. And while some of them already have offers, many of them are also still available since it's only in October here. With that, that's a good overview and hopefully an introduction to the MSPM program, and we're happy to open it up now to questions.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, sorry.
I wanted to add to Greg's comment. If you are interested in the students from the program, please post your jobs in Handshake, and we can let us know. We can make sure we get those jobs to the appropriate parties so those students are aware of your openings, and we'll make sure students can connect on those. Yeah.
So perfect. So the chat board has definitely been booming while you guys were talking. We've got a lot of participants, in the room, as we can see. So we want to open up the questions with Kim. She wants to know what industries and backgrounds the students typically come from.
Well, all of them typically have some type of undergraduate in technology, predominantly CS, but also engineering, information technology, or some type of equivalent technology in terms of a base education. In terms of the working experience that they have for those 5 years, some of them, it's actually very, very broad. Everything from traditional enterprise technology to retailers to healthcare to financial technology. I don't know if I'm forgetting anything, but I mean, it's a very broad range of where they have worked at before they join us here in this program. What is the common thread, though, is they're usually working on some area of technology relative to that company on some product area. I like to look at our students as aspirational. Most of them have worked in the how part of creating a product in many industries, and they want to move into that area aspirationally at defining the what of the product and leading the product strategically as well as tactically in terms of its definition of what is built.
So building upon that, we have another question. What's the average level of experience with CS skills?
Most of them have an undergraduate technology undergraduate degree, and I would say of those 5 years they're predominantly, I would say 80% of the time they've worked in some type of computer science or programming skills level set.
Okay, so next question is, what is the process for companies getting to participate in the Capstone product?
I'm the point person for the Capstone project, and so I don't know if we put up my contact information, but we can, I think we can, I don't know if that's on this, we have another slide, but if not, you can reach out to me at CMU. We start that process because there is a contract with Carnegie Mellon University between CMU and yourself. And we are lining those up right now. They're great projects. We've done ones with, as I mentioned, some of the ones up here, in addition to Boeing Horizon X and Home Depot, and a wide variety of small to large companies and very challenging product problems.
So one of the other questions that we have is, how can we get resumes for graduating candidates? And we can all kind of talk. Jeff had mentioned before, Handshake is a great place to post your jobs, but Kate?
Right. We also have a resume book of students that are still looking. Many of them they have offers, but they are still looking and they're still interviewing. So we can forward that to Sean, and then you can send it out, or however you'd like to manage that.
So at the end of this webinar, we will be taking the recording as well as the slides, and we can also possibly get the resume book and provide that to the people who are attending this webinar. That's a great benefit for those that are attending the webinar.
Perfect.
Now, let's see. We have a company that says they're asking about resumes because they're not posting the job openly yet. So, you know, the resume book will help you if you're not able to do that.
Perfect, yep.
So why don't we send it out to all the attendees?
Great.
If we have the contact information.
Perfect. And we'll also provide all the contact information of Greg and Kate as well. Another question from Mary Kay wants to know, any plans for a project management degree?
A project management degree? Not currently. Right now we are, this program has grown tremendously. We anticipate upwards of 45 students that will be starting in January, which is amazing growth in just 2 years for a new degree. I think we're looking to expand this degree to delivering it in different ways. In terms of project management, no, not right now that I'm aware of. That may be happening in other areas of CMU.
You have too much on your plate.
Right.
One of the questions that came up earlier is, what is the breakdown between U.S. citizens and international students?
Yeah, right now we're at about 80% international, 20% U.S., and that's been pretty consistent throughout the first 2 cohorts.
Awesome.
It is a STEM designated degree, which I didn't mention. I apologize for that. So they have 3 years OPT that they're allowed to work in the country for concern for sponsorship by any employers.
We're also welcome to opening any more questions that you do have. Another question that was asked earlier is, what are some of the things that companies who have participated in the first cohort, what are they saying from the benefits of working with these students?
Yes, actually, I just got a note from one of the employers yesterday, Tony Patera, who's the vice president of Proofpoint, who wrote me a note, coincidentally, so your question is a very good one and very timely, that a student from our first cohort, Vivek Indrian, who is now a product manager at Proofpoint. Proofpoint's a billion-dollar Silicon Valley cybersecurity company. Received an award yesterday for his work done. Proofpoint is so satisfied with our students that they actually hired an additional 2 students out of this cohort. So our students are satisfying their needs of a fast-growing cybersecurity Silicon Valley company. But we also have students from the first cohort at places like Dick's Sporting Goods, where they're running the mobile application, at PayPal. Of course, we all know PayPal, major fintech company, as well as Datadog, which is a New York City fast-growing data analytics company. So our product managers are well placed and already contributing well from the first graduating group.
And I'll add to that, the companies that I've been engaging with that have participated in recruitment efforts there and have had interns, they've said great things about the candidates coming out of that. So lots of big thumbs up so far.
Thank you.
So one other question is, it's two parts. So how long has the program been running, and how do analytics factor into the syllabus?
Yeah, great question. So the program is going to be entering its third year here in 2020. So we've gone through two cohorts. We'll be finishing the second cohort here in December. And analytics plays a big part of it. It's one of the core products that we have to take in terms of data services. It's one of the required semester-long classes that the students start off with in their first semester.
So one of the other questions we had earlier was also, how does a company stand out with this population of students?
It is very competitive because and students are really looking for a place to make their mark and make a difference. As I mentioned earlier, these students have a strong desire to transition from how the product is built as primarily technologists and engineers and CS people to what is being built and becoming a business leader and driving and leading the product. And I think what makes a difference is not so much the name of the company or the size of the company, but their ability to come in and own something and make an impact right away. I think that's really what drives is the essence of what drives the employment decision.
Any other questions? Do the students leave with any specific new software tools, skills like Tableau, Click, et cetera?
Yeah, so there are actually, we've calculated well over 50 different product management tools that are out there. And we try to expose them to everything from Pendo to Gainsight to Tableau to Jira, everything you could possibly want these students to be educated on. The program has grown so much in stature that we're actually getting these companies offering that technology for free, so that it will expose, of course, the students to that, but it also gives them a great education. So yes, during the year, they get to use many of these tools, and we bring in many of the vendors, not only because they're looking to recruit, but also to educate them on the products.
Question from Kim is, what percentage of graduates stay in the Pittsburgh area based off the students that have gone through the program already?
Right now we're at about 25%. Yeah. So, and there are a strong amount of offers in the Pittsburgh area this year. And as you can see, with one of the ways to connect with these students is internships and capstones. The students are not necessarily from Pittsburgh, although we've had several students from Pittsburgh participate in the first couple cohorts, and in this upcoming cohort, we have some Pittsburgh-based students. But students sometimes come here and really love the environment and the area and want to remain here.
So Selena would like to know how many students are in the program each year, and what is the size of the graduating class?
Yeah, so we started with just a handful our first year, and the size of our class this year is 21, and next year it'll be 45. Oh. So it's growing really rapidly. I think that goes to the first part of my presentation, which not only do students realize there's a high demand for product managers and they want to do this in their career, but overall there's just not enough product managers in the supply and demand in the marketplace. And so it's just a great area, a growth area that's being really recognized, and because CMU is so uniquely able to educate people, that it's a one-year degree is a big benefit. That you get the kind of education, as I showed you in the content, both experientially as well as academically, and the connections to companies like yours is very important to these students.
One question someone had earlier in the chat was, in terms of being a one-year program starting in January, employers should have their jobs in handshake as soon as possible, since those students are going to be making those decisions.
Yes, we're actually onboarding them early. We're starting right now with the cohort that's coming on in January. Great. So they have their CMU credentials, and so we're going to get them set up in the systems, so they would be able to view jobs if you posted them in handshake. So that's probably the best way to do that, at least in the December timeframe. No, I wouldn't wait much past that.
That's great to know. Yeah, I think that's perfect. Any last questions? We may have another minute or two. Any last questions you have? If not, is there anything else that you maybe didn't get a chance to say that you'd like to end on?
I want to thank everybody for taking their time, most importantly. We're very excited about bringing this program and creating relationships with you. the success of these students is not only while they're here at CMU, interacting with you in internships and capstones, most importantly, getting the outcome of the job that they want. And we hope that many of them will land with you, and I look forward to building relationships with you to have that outcome for both of us.
Well, thank you all. That is the end of the webinar. Stay tuned. We'll be having future webinars coming up with different programs in the next couple months. So stay tuned. We'll be sending that out through Handshake. Have a great rest of your week. Thank you.